Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So today we're going to be looking at the botched third republic in Nigeria, the third aborted republic in Nigeria. Okay, so the third republic was short-lived, and this is because the military regime under General Ibrahim Babangida did not allow the result of the presidential election to come into effect due to reasons best known to him. But the primaries for nominations to parties' candidacy were bedeviled with conflict and crisis. The SDP especially was plagued by crisis in the governorship primaries, and in fact, it was only the open ballot system and other controls that mitigated conduct from manifesting the scale of violence and irregularities reminiscent of the past experience. Since the parties were created by the military regime, okay, they tended to be controlled by the military. The NRC, which was similarly defeated in the June 12 presidential election, undemocratically contested the SDP victory and played into the hands of the military dictators. The annulment of the June 12 election, the annulment of the June 12 election, and thereafter, with the support of the leaders of both parties, the Babangida administration set up, the interim national government to signify their shallow commitment to democracy. The two political parties were dissolved when General Sani Abacha sacked the Chief Ernest Shenekon-led interim national government on November 17, 1993. The elections into the various political positions were conducted through political parties. Now, those were actually, the developments that actually occurred in the Third Republic. Now, it was called Third Republic because elections into state assembly, governorship, into national assembly was done already. In fact, the Senate president and the House of Reps speaker were already elected. So because the legislature was in place, it was actually called the Third Republic because the republic had already started. In fact, elections had been conducted at the subnational level. And so, to that extent, a lot of people actually looked at that period as a republic because, civilians have been elected already. Okay? Now, the military administration or military regime of the IBB actually thought it wise to hand over power to democratically elected government. And so they actually floated two political parties. Now, these two political parties, as we are going to be looking at just now, are the Social Democratic Party SDP and the National Republican Convention NRC. Now, these political parties actually contested the election. And of course, the SDP eventually was winning the elections in several states before the election was cancelled. What is important is that the Third Republic had already begun, and the Babangida regime, for reasons best known to them, actually decided to annul the election. A lot of people were actually looking at that administration as Maradonic in the sense that They promised the people that they were going to hand over power to the politicians. All of a sudden, when the election was actually far into into its completion, they decided to annul that election. A lot of Nigerians were not actually very happy with that decision, to come up with the interim national government, and then the chief of army staff in person during the interim national government in person of General Sani Abacha moved swiftly, okay, and then toppled the government of Chief Ernest Shonekan, because a court had already delivered judgment that that administration was actually an illegal one. So what are the political parties that were actually in place in the Third Republic? Now, the first one was Social Democratic Party. Now, according to Professor Sam Oyobare, that was the former Minister of Information and Culture, in reaction to the criticism that greeted the imposition of the two-party system, said that the two-party system in the Third Republic, that is the SDP and NRC, were neither imposed nor created by the government. Rather, they were the outcome of the political bureau, that was a body which itself was created by the government. So the Social Democratic Party, that is SDP, had as its chairman Chief Tony Aneni. The offices, were located in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, state capitals, as well as local government headquarters, including ward offices or ward levels. Now, the second political party under this botched Third Republic was the National Republican Convention, NRC. The National Republican Convention was headed by Chief Tom Ikimi as that was the national chairman, and it also had offices in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the state capitals, local government headquarters, and even wards. It was the opposition party then, because the SDP was winning the presidential elections before the election was annulled. Ideologically, the SDP tended towards progressivism, people-oriented leadership, and development, while the NRC favored capitalist and private sector-driven economy, and there was mass cross-carpeting to SDP because the SDP was actually winning election. So you see that the Nigerian politics or Nigerian political parties are bereft of ideologies, because cross-carpeting is actually the order of the day, and Nigerian politicians are not ideologically disciplined. And so it is actually where it is happening, the party that is winning, that actually becomes the bride of the day. And so what happens in the Nigerian political space is that politicians are actually can be likened to prostitutes. Wherever their interests are best fed or best met is actually where they are going to jump to. So there is this concept of jumpology in the Nigerian political space. Okay, so but these two political parties that came on board, okay, a lot of people actually looked at it that the period was not truly democratic, because it was the military that decreed these two political parties into existence. Okay, so that was exactly what happened during the Third Republic in Nigeria. A lot of people looked at it that it was actually aborted in the sense that in fact the SDP was actually winning the election in 23 states already, and the Professor Humphrey Nwosu led electoral body actually came up to announce the annulment of the election. And then thereafter, the military regime of the IBB decided to actually hurriedly package an interim national government and decided to step aside. Okay, that was exactly what happened during the Third Republic in Nigeria. Thank you very much.